Hey, it's my first video in forever. I guess it's the season for resurrections. Easter's at the end of this month, March 31st. Not what I want to talk about. Next week, X-Men 97 is coming out on Disney Plus, and I'm super excited. I can't believe that it's finally coming out. First announced it 3 years ago at San Diego Comic-Con, and now it's finally coming to fruition. They got most of the original voice actors back. They got Larry Houston, who worked on the first X-Men animated series of 1992 through 97. And it's supposed to pick up exactly where that series left off. Now, I was a kid in the 90s, and X-Men was a big part of my childhood. It was one of the things that inspired me to pick up comic books. I started with the cartoon series, and it was so dope that I decided to start collecting comics. I did that probably from like 1996 to 2000-ish. College happened, and then I got poor. But it also influenced like my artwork and the style of drawing that I do. And I can remember my first time taking my nephews to the movie theater. We went to see the X-Men movie back in 2000. So it's been a big part of my life, the series. And it all started with the animated series. So I'm super excited for it. They just released a trailer today and gave us a few glimpses of a little bit of the story, a little bit how they're honoring the legacy of the original show and the show's impact. And it was a dope trailer. It got me super excited. And it's only 7 days left. It's gonna be the longest 7 days ever, but I'm gonna be patient. I see a lot of people who are skeptics with the show. They don't think that it's gonna be either appropriate for kids, or that it's gonna be too watered down by Disney, or that it's gonna have some type of agenda attached to it. But I ain't worried about none of that. Like, I really just want to see my favorite characters back on screen. To this date, I think that the X-Men animated series has been the most comic accurate iteration of the X-Men that we've seen, and that was way back 30 years ago. Like, none of the Fox movies, I feel like, did the X-Men characters justice. They all felt watered down. The first of the 3 movies, I remember a singer saying that he wanted to ground the X-Men in reality, and I'm like, bro, like, these are fantastical characters. Let them be great. Don't ground them. Like, don't put them in black leather coats. Put them in yellow, bright spandex. And so, yeah, I'm just super excited. I'm ready. I am ready. Questions about the series that I have. So I noticed that some of the original actors are coming back, but it's rumored that they're going to be taking up new roles. So I know that the actress that played Jubilee in the original series is coming back, but she's playing a different reason, and that was for her personal reasons. As I understand, she felt that Jubilee, being Asian American, should be played by an Asian voice actress, and so that was her choice. But she was invited to come back and voice somebody new. I also see Catherine Disher has been invited back, but rumor has it that she won't be Jean Grey this time, which I think is terrible because she was my favorite Jean Grey, and Jean Grey is my favorite character. And so I don't know. I don't know. Because from the trailer, we've seen that Jean Grey is pregnant in X-Men 97. But according to X-Men comics, Jean Grey hasn't been pregnant yet. We haven't seen Jean Grey pregnant in 616. And according to the line of action figures that's been released in promotion for the show, there's a set that comes with Madeline Pryor and a baby Cable. And that's super exciting because 90s comic book enthusiasts know that Inferno is kind of Madeline Pryor's big story. And in that, baby Cable is born, and I don't know if it's a spoiler, it's been out for 30 years. She kind of goes cuckoo over her life circumstances, and she makes a deal with a demon to sacrifice baby Cable to a demon to gain powers of Goblin Queen. So we don't know if Disney is ready to tell that story or not, but I'm hoping that they go there, and that what we're thinking is Jean Grey being pregnant, shown in these trailers, is actually Madeline Pryor. that raises the question of, where's Jean Grey? What happened to her? And what's kind of cool is that because this is supposed to pick up from where the last series ended, there was a couple times when they could have swapped Jean Grey out, and it'd been kind of an inside story in preparation for a reboot. In the last season, there was an episode, two-part episode, where the Phalanx, which are cyber alien parasitic type creatures, came to Earth, and they just wanted to take over. They were infecting everybody, and all the mutants from different factions had to get together. Not all of them, but all of them that were in the show had to get together, no matter if they were good guys or bad guys. They got together to team up against the Phalanx and got rid of them. But at the end of all of that, at the end of the two-part episode, there's a scene where at the resolution, I think Professor Xavier is saying something about how good it is to work with Magneto and how everybody could come together, and it's like his dream fulfilled. And then I think it's Cyclops that says, including Sinister, where is he? Sinister was a part of the episodes, and he's been the villain of a lot of the X-Men shows. And so in response to his asking about Sinister, Jean Grey kind of diverts the attention. It's just like, hey, he's back in the shadows where he belongs. Let's just go home. I don't want to be bothered with that. Now, up until now, that made sense as Jean Grey having a regular, I'm just tired, bro. Let's just go home and chill a moment. And she liked to faint and have her resting spells. I hope that doesn't come back in the series. But what if they use that moment to say that that wasn't actually Jean at that time, and that she had been at some point replaced with Madeline Pryor and put into the X-Men's rank? And then that line takes on a different meaning, because Madeline Pryor was a clone that was created by Mr. Sinister. So if he put her in their ranks, kind of snuck her in at some point, and the X-Men were about to go after him, or Cyclops was, it would make sense that she, under his influence, would divert the attention away from him and say, let's go home and chill. So maybe in the comics, Madeline Pryor was introduced at a time when Jean Grey had died, being Phoenix. And Jean was dead, Cyclops was going through depression, and he met a woman who looked just like Jean Grey, who was dead. And he fell in love with her and knocked her up and got married. Vice versa. Married her and knocked her up. And then Jean Grey resurfaced, because that's what Jean Grey does. And he was like, oh, peace. And that was one of the things that led to her going cuckoo and wanting to then sacrifice her baby to demons. It wasn't just that simplified, but she was also a clone, and she had no real identity, and her husband left her with a child. It's kind of a deep story, which is why I don't know that Disney will go that far into it, but maybe they will. We don't know. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. And then, so I just took a long tangent. Come on back. So Catherine Disher is credited in IMDb for the voice of Jean Grey, but so is Jennifer Hale, who did her voice in Wolverine and the X-Men. And I believe in maybe Ultimate Alliance 3, one of the video games, she voiced Phoenix. People loved her as Jean Grey. I didn't think that Jean was present enough in X-Men, or Wolverine and the X-Men, for that voice to have enough weight. Jean was missing for 90% of that series. And she was, when she returned, she was a plot piece. So I didn't really like that treatment of Jean Grey, and therefore I didn't really like her voice actress. I mean, I didn't care about her voice actress, but I just, with this team's position, saying that they want to retain the feel of the original animated series, if they have these voice actors that are still living, I think that Jean Grey had an iconic voice in '92, the original X-Men animated series. So it it seems odd. Unless, Catherine Disher's voice has changed in the last 30 years and she just is no longer, maybe she doesn't desire. She's been very hush. So, I don't know. Maybe she is Jean Grey and maybe Jennifer Hale is Madeline Pryor or vice versa. We don't know. That's what we'll find out in these next 7 days. Super, super, super excited. And then Chris Potter, who played Gambit in the original series, is reportedly going to be playing Cable in this series. And I feel like that's also a really bad decision. I don't know why. The name is Gambit. Remember it, right? Nobody could pull off that. Like, that voice was iconic for Gambit. And so, I don't know why they would make the decision to have him play someone else, or I don't know what that was about, but I'm hoping that there's just some intentional misdirection that's going on around the series that we don't know about. Because, man, and they even tried in season 5 of the original series to replace Chris Potter with another voice actor. I don't know who it is right now. But when he played the role, his voice was kind of like, it was kind of like this. Yes, yeah. Like, bro, it's not the same. It's not the same. So I hope that the actor that they got to replace Chris Potts as Gambit does a great job. I send him blessings. But I also, more so, hope that that is just incorrect information and that Chris Potts maybe he can play both. I'm pretty sure that Catherine Disher did many voices in the original X-Men animated series. I can remember a lot of background, like she was a newscaster at some point, and it was her voice, and it was like just different random characters they threw her in a bunch. So I think that they could do the same thing with Chris Potts. We'll see. Super excited. Those are my reservations. I talked to folks who have issue with Storm's hair and the mohawk, and I get it, right? If we're recreating Jim Lee's X-Men lineup, she didn't have the mohawk at that point. But apparently there's a reason as to why she cut her hair, and there's like a 4-piece comic that is launching to coincide with the launch of the series that will explain what's going on with Storm's hair. So we'll see. I don't really care. Like, long as she do speeches, I don't care nothing about the mohawk. Like, and she already did one in the trailer that released today. She was like, I am Storm, mistress of the elements. And that's got to come back. I was so disappointed when I started collecting comics and she didn't do those speeches. I was like, yo, you mean lightning just works without talking to it? So yeah, I'm super excited about it. Those speeches got to come back. I also heard people had reservation about, I think it's Morph, who in addition to taking on his comic book form, he kind of looks like Voldemort. He's got pronouns now, they instead of he. I probably shouldn't have been saying he, but people are like, oh, now it's so woke. Bro, X-Men always been woke. So, just chill. It's going to be good. Give yourself the opportunity to enjoy it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. Rogue's Booty. People have been going crazy about Rogue's Booty. Oh, they nerfed Rogue. First of all, it's my understanding that when Rogue joined the X-Men, she was younger than like the original 5, Jean, Cyclops, Warren, Beast, and Iceman. She and Gambit were like a second class of students. And so, yes, for a lot of the drawings in the comics, she was built with the big booty and small waist and big titties. But, I mean, in context, it kind of makes sense that she wouldn't be. And so I'm okay with that. We had that when we were growing up. We saw that moment when they was fighting Apocalypse and she fell and the booty was there. And it was nice. But, bro, we're not gonna let that stop the greatness of this show. Like, let's get it together. So those are the biggest things, the biggest complaints that I've heard about the show. And none of it is stopping my excitement. I can't wait for the next 7 days to pass so this show premieres. I even want to do like a watch party or something with it. So we'll see. But yeah, man, X-Men is coming back. The theme song is the same. Like, man, all the nostalgia, all the feelings, they're just coming back. And I hope you guys enjoy the way I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to make it my business. I might do like pizza night or something like that and have, I don't know, soda or wine or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Y'all excited?